What's up, everybody? Time to ride here. Hey, we're going to be doing a video today on how to change your tie rods on an ATV. This time we're doing a Can-Am Outlander 650 XT. This will work for many different makes and models of ATVs. It's very similar across the board. As you can see, I ran into a rock and bent my tie rod, so I actually ordered some heavy-duty tie rods from American Star Racing. They're much thicker, much more durable, and again, they are from American Star. So there's actually two parts of this piece. You have your actual physical tie rod here, and these are the tie rod ends. They spin on with threads, and then they lock in with nuts that come supplied with the tie rod kit. Sometimes these will go bad, so you can actually luck out sometimes and just change out one of these. In this case, since I bent the whole thing, I opted to just go with a whole new setup. I could have straightened this back out, but keep in mind, whenever you re-straighten metal, it's going to weaken a little bit. So possibly next time I hit a rock, it'd be more susceptible to bending. So rather than worry about that, I just upgraded. It's about 80 bucks. Definitely worth it, and keeps your peace of mind when you're riding around on the trails. So there's actually two parts of this piece. You have your actual physical tie rod here, and these are the tie rod ends. They spin on with threads, and then they lock in with nuts that come supplied with the tie rod kit. Sometimes these will go bad, so you can actually luck out sometimes and just change out one of these. In this case, since I bent the whole thing, I opted to just go with a whole new setup. I could have straightened this back out, but keep in mind, whenever you re-straighten metal, it's going to weaken a little bit. So possibly next time I hit a rock, it'd be more susceptible to bending. So rather than worry about that, I just upgraded. It's about 80 bucks. Definitely worth it, and keeps your peace of mind when you're riding around on the trails. So when these tie rods come in, they actually come in disassembled. So it comes with a full set of tie rods. So you get 2 tie rods, 4 ends. I messed this up. I didn't realize this, but these ends spin different directions. So one end is slightly bigger than the other. So this end is going to tighten to the right, but when you come over to this end here, it's going to actually do the opposite, and it's going to actually tighten to the left. So keep that in mind. Your tie rods are not messed up. The threading is not incorrect. I made that mistake myself, and now I have an extra set thanks to American Star, but that's my fault. All right, first, guys, you're going to want to take off your wheels and tires. Very easy. It's very hard to do this, if not impossible to do this with the tires on, so make sure you take those off. And your tie rods, they're going to be found right in here above the A-arm. It's this part right here. A lot of times if you hit a rock or you run into a tree or something, you're going to bend those, and it's going to affect your steering. So my front left one was bent. This one's still straight, but I'm going to switch them both out. It ended up pulling my wheel and tire out to the left, so it was pulling to the left when I was driving. But pretty straightforward here. We're going to show you guys how to do it. It's pretty quick and easy, and you don't need any fancy equipment or tools to do it, so definitely a project you guys can do at home. So guys, as you can see, really just taking off 2 tie rod ends, this one and this one located in the center of the ATV. That being said, you just have these little cotter pins here you need to take out of the bolts. So what I'm going to do first is take those out, remove them, and then I can get to this nut right here, loosen that up, and then pop this out. Guys, so I got that cotter pin out. Right now, I already loosened this nut right here on the bottom, but as you can see, when I loosen that, it actually spins the tie rod end. So you're going to take, this is an 11/16 wrench. I don't know if it's the same. I doubt it's the same on all quads, but on this Can-Am, it's 11/16. There's a slot you can just slide that into, and then you can loosen this up. Guys, there is another cotter pin, just so you know, on the inside as well, so you need to remove that. You can see it right here. It's kind of tough to see. You need to remove that, and then we can get to this nut right here, just like we did on the first one. Loosen that up, and then this will pull right down. All right, guys, so I got the old tie rod off. Now I have to put the new tie rod on. If you can see this notch right here on the old tie rod, it shows you that's the one that has to go closest to the wheel, not in. So this is the one closest to the wheel. The new ones have this on there too. You're basically going to want to try to measure this up and get this the same length. The new one the same length as the old one. So right now it's a little bit too long, which is an easy fix. So you just need to adjust your tie rod ends, either in or out, to make sure it matches the length of the OEM tie rod. So that's a little bit further in. That's pretty close. All right, so we got the new tie rods matched up to the same length as the old one. You want to make sure you do that, because if you don't, when you put your tires back on, they might be going different directions. And it'll take a lot of tweaking to get it right where you want it. So if you have a good tie rod to measure off of, it should make life a lot easier. All right, so now we're going to install the new tie rods. Just keep in mind what they look like when you took them off. You're going to go underneath the A-arm and put it in the closest hole to you on the steering stem. Might take a little wiggling to get that in there. And then you want to come down to the other side where your wheel is going to go. All right, so we got the new tie rod in. Don't forget, like I said, put those washers. There should be one on top, and we're going to be putting one on the bottom. Now all you need to do is put your washer on the bottom, put your new nut back on. Usually it's probably going to be a Castle nut. It's going to look something like this. And you're going to put your washer on, your nut, and then we're going to put a new cotter pin through the bottom bolt, and then through the bolt on the inside as well to lock it in place in case it were to come loose. All right, guys, so this cotter pin, they come with new cotter pins. You're going to need 4 of them. It goes in the bottom of the bolt that you just tightened. And then if you can get it with your fingers, you want to put it in, bend it back and around the bolt. In case that nut were to come loose, that'll keep it in place so you don't lose your tie rod when you're riding. So we did the outside, we just need to do the inside, and then go over to the other side of the ATV and put the other new one on too. All right, guys, so we got our tie rods in on both sides. You just want to make sure you have good clearance from your A-arm so they're not going to be hitting. We did have to tweak these a little bit and just adjust the length of the tie rod. Once you put your wheels on and your tires back on your front, you'll see if it looks correct. They should not be straight ahead. Your tires should be bowed in just slightly. You want to make sure they're not going one way or the other. They just want to be bowed in just slightly. So just take a look at that. It might take some tweaking, just very easy to do. I highly suggest just mocking this up. Just finger tighten your nuts. Don't put all your pins in and everything until you make sure your alignment is correct. And other than that, that concludes this video on how to install tie rods. This does work for obviously the Can-Am that we did it on, but it's the same general premise for most models of ATV. So hope you guys liked it. Remember to subscribe and comment on the bottom. Let us know what you think. Appreciate you watching.